As I was preparing my story this week, I decided to share with you today an example of God working in my life so that all glory and praise will be given to Him alone. So today my story is about my recent journey with my weight. To be fair, all my life I hadn't really given too much thought about what I ate or physically did. I always thought I could do with losing a few kilos by eating more healthy and being more active, but I really couldn't be bothered. I would regularly get inspired to diet or exercise, usually after visiting relatives in Korea or watching dramas, but it lasted maybe a day or two. To be honest, I just didn't have enough motivation. Even leading up to my wedding, a close friend of mine suggested we join a gym to get fit. I think I attended maybe 3 times. And I never dieted for my wedding. Looking slim for my wedding just wasn't enough motivation. I have to really thank God, though, because I got stressed from some relatives, and it caused me to lose 5 kilos leading up to the wedding, which I definitely would not have lost. But if you too are hoping to lose weight from stress, I don't recommend it because my makeup wouldn't stick to my face. During my pregnancies, I didn't listen to the advice of pregnancy books or doctors, and I literally ate for 2. It was the one time in my life that I felt that I could eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and how much I wanted. I didn't really care to eat healthy, but I ate every indulgent food that I could, which was normally high-fat or highly processed. However, this led me to getting gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with Caitlin. Although after the birth it went away, my pregnancy weight didn't. I spent every day during my 1-year maternity leave lying on the couch at my mum's, watching TV while my parents took care of the kids because I was recovering. Afterwards, I was constantly on diets because I really wanted to fit in my pre-pregnancy clothes. But it was just too hard for me because I realized that vanity just isn't enough motivation. I remember at work, I was put on an executive training course and my coach asked me why everything I wore was black. I told her it was because black is slimming, and I refused to buy new clothes because I had such beautiful suits that I hoped one day to fit in again. She said something quite confronting. She said, "You need to do something, you just can't linger. Otherwise, you'll be doing this forever. Either you lose the weight and wear the clothes again, or you accept your new size and move on." She was right, and it was confronting because I did not want to accept my new size. It was around this time that I began to understand more about God. I realized He had given me this body, His temple, where His Holy Spirit lives. He had entrusted this body to me for me to take care of it. One day I could be asked what I did with all the good health He gave me and how I took care of the body He gave me. I once heard a message where Pastor Rick Warren asked, if you invited Jesus over for dinner, what would you feed Him? Because what we eat is what we are feeding Him as He lives in us. Sorry, Thomas is laughing. I began to want to take care of His body by eating what is good for the body and exercising. I began something called the Daniel fast, when you mainly eat just fruit and veggies in order to get closer to God. You see, this was something I wanted to do. I wanted to get closer to God. The concept was by withholding rich food, I would be more sensitive to hearing God. However, it wasn't easy and I didn't finish. I'm sure Satan was working very hard to make it unsuccessful in order to make sure I did not get closer to God. I gradually came to realize that I just couldn't do it on my own. It felt really petty to have to ask God for help on this, but I got to the point where I was desperate. I confessed to Him that I could not take care of this body, and even the prospect of getting closer to Him was not enough motivation for me. I asked God to help me because with my own strength, I always failed. I wanted to trust in God, who can do all things and for whom nothing is impossible. Earlier this year, I had a general blood test, a checkup I do every 1 to 2 years. Up until now, the result has always been fine. This year, the result was unexpectedly bad. I was diagnosed with high cholesterol. The doctor said if I didn't bring my weight down, I would be on cholesterol pills to manage it. I was also at high risk of diabetes. I was pretty shocked because I didn't want to be popping pills at this age. So the doctor put me on a management plan which included seeing a nutritionist and more recently an exercise physiologist. At the same time at work, due to a hiring freeze, I couldn't hire my junior team member. This meant I had to do 2 people's work. I was super busy and had no time to snack. I began to lose weight from stress, not snacking, and being more mindful of my meals. Strangely, even though I was so stressed from work, I was very thankful to God that I was so busy because I wasn't able to snack and as a result was losing weight. However, I then had a health scare a few months ago when some stomach pain caused me to go to the hospital. They found some incidental lesions on my liver. I realized that I could have cancer, and this really changed what I ate. I began to consciously eat more vegetables and incorporate this in our family meals. My husband also began to eat vegetables. Trust me, he hardly ate vegetables before. And I noticed it rubbed off on the kids as they have also started to eat vegetables. I was very thankful to God for this, even if I did have cancer, so that my husband and I could be healthy examples for our kids and that our kids could learn to eat correctly. Fortunately, it was not cancer, but it has changed my life. And now I have started exercising. This is one more thing that I've failed at all the time, so I'm going to need to rely more and more on God to keep this up. I honestly thank God that He brought all these things to happen in my life and helped me identify the only thing that would motivate me, which was my health. I'm still at the start of this journey, but I hope next year to again attempt the Daniel fast and actually finish it this time. Thank you for listening to my story.